The last few days have been a mix of bitterness and sweetness. I mean, the sweet part, well, you can tell. I mean, look at this car. This is a brand new Mark 8 2022 Volkswagen Golf R. I mean, it's one of two Golfs still offered in North America along with the GTI. That's fantastic. But it's also very, very bitter because it is one of only two Golfs still offered in North America. Now, if you'll forgive me, I'm going to hang on to that bitterness for a few extra moments. The thing is, I own a Mark 7 Golf Sport Wagon. And as I said in my Taos review, there's a lot of links here. Excuse me, the Mark 7 Sport Wagon especially was a high point. Was the pinnacle of the Golf as far as I was concerned. And the Taos, despite Volkswagen's efforts, because they ain't their best efforts, it just falls short. And driving this now, and coming home and parking it beside my Mark 7.5 Golf Sport Wagon, I can see the evolution. I can see the details, the equipment, changing, improving, most of them anyway, not all of them. Excuse me again. And it just bothers me a little bit. But the important takeaway here is that this is a Golf R. And I love it, obviously. But, there's a but. This is not the Golf R that most Golf R enthusiasts, not owners, not buyers, would want. See, I've had the absolute pleasure, the honor, I am blessed to drive a Rally Golf, a Mark 4 R32, Mark 5 R32, Mark 6 R, Mark 7 R, and the evolution between those cars is staggering, but they all shared something where the driver was always intimately involved with the experience. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that later. This is the greatest driving one of them all. But on top of all that ability is the best suit, always the best suit. Well, not all parts of the suit are perfect, but what I'm trying to say is that this isn't the Golf R that I would purchase. But it's the only Golf R you can get, so hey, shut up, Matt. Let's do the walk around and take it for a spin, eh? How about that? Now, if I may, just say a few words about styling. I mean, what I do love about the Golf is that it's always instantly recognizable as a Golf because the design just evolves from a 2 to the 3 to the 4. All generations blend one into the other. Maybe the 5 wasn't as pretty as the others, but that's just an opinion. And if there's something that Volkswagen has always done well, I suppose that applies to the German auto brands, is that even their high-performance models, with an exception or two, are very subtle, very clean, and that absolutely applies to the Mark 8 Golf R. I mean, it's unadorned, but still visually different enough that you know that this is a special car. I mean, you got the quad tailpipes, you got the diffuser in the back, the larger rear spoiler. And unless I'm mistaken, I know it's a fact in Canada, maybe not in the US, although I'm pretty sure it is in the US, all Golf Rs come with the R appearance package or something like that, which includes the 19-inch Estoril wheels and the spoiler and everything you see here, including the more aggressive front end. Now, if I was to make one comment, I suppose, about the front end styling, I think I prefer the Mark 7's not quite as browy front headlight layout along with the grille and the line that kind of joins them all together. But that's just really an insignificant detail from an insignificant man. Overall, it is a very, very attractive car. Nothing negative really to say about it. Now, pricing. And this is where it kind of gets interesting, especially for Canadians. A base price in the US is $43,645. In Canada, $45,995. In other words, the R is damn cheap. And the Mark 7, if I recall, was also much, much less expensive. I mean, dollar for dollar, pound for pound, whatever, in Canada than the US. The level of equipment for the car is, well, it's complete. I mean, you have these, like I said, the R appearance package. You get Napa leather, digital cockpit, 10-inch touchscreen, heads-up display, Harman Kardon audio, heated front and rear seats, cooled front seats, and so on and so on and so on and so on. There are only essentially two options. One being the DSG, which has been a $1,400 option since as long as I can remember, which is maybe just one of the unfortunate things about my test car, because the other really unfortunate thing is this $1,250 optional sunroof, which is completely pointless in my opinion, for a grand total of $48,645. That's still a lot of car for that kind of money. Another comment maybe, I suppose, it's only available in this pure white, lapis blue, and deep black. Hopefully Volkswagen will bring back the color spectrum in the near future. I really do hope they do that, and I don't care, charge $3,000 or $3,500 for it. It'll be absolutely worth it. Okay, the Mark 8 obviously has a trunk. I'll show it to you. Oh, this is one of the details. Okay, that's the handle, and the camera is in there. That's a Golf thing. You don't get that in any of Volkswagen's SUVs. It's one of the best things about the Golf. There's a trunk. There's a trunk. See, there's a trunk. What? Oh, sorry. And there's room under here. You know, it's functional, useful. It's fine. No problems there. Because it's a Golf, you can also use it as a family car, which is what I've been doing all week. I mean, I usually do it with my Golf Sport Wagon. And it's still as in with the Golf Sport Wagon. It's a little snug for the kids as they're getting taller, although I'm shrinking, but still, that's not helping the distance for their legs. But it works. It really does work. And as always, ingress and egress into the Golf is just absolutely easy. This is a nice family hatchback. Okay, so there's only one way, like I said, to get the Golf R. It's fully loaded. And again, the textures, the materials, the fit, the finish, everything is borderline premium. Oh, my gloves are dirty. It just looks great. I mean, maybe they could have done something with the speaker grills, but I don't care because that's not important. These seats are absolutely incredible. Fixed headrests, massive bolsters, big bolsters over here, power operated. They're really nice. On the steering wheel, I guess that's a good angle for the shot. Love it. Hate these, but love the steering wheel. All right, let's slide in. So everything you see here is essentially standard. So there's your digital cockpit. And unlike many cars which have various ways or various views, this one actually does have many views. So from the steering wheel, you're going to work with me? There we go. There are many different settings and views, and they can also change with the various drive modes, which is kind of cool. I myself prefer, if I can toggle all the way around and get back to it, that's it, center mounted tack, even though this is a DSG model. It does have heads-up display, which I think you can see right over there. These are your controls for your headlights and various other important quick access things, such as defrost when you're getting the car in the middle of winter. This I don't even want to talk about, but I'll have no choice. This might be one of my only issues. I mean, look at the center console. How cheap, boring, uneventful, and this is laziness. That's what that is. Just one rectangle to fit all of that in there, and this dainty little shifter. I know it's very Porsche-like. That's kind of sad, guys. Come on, you can do better than that. I know you can. And even the manual shifter, I'm not complaining about the manual transmission, but the knob is kind of square or rectangular-ish, which is really weird. Detail, perhaps, and I've said my piece. Storage, as always, in a Golf is pretty good. I got this. This opens up. There we go. Down there. Door bins in Volkswagens are always amazing. Very deep. Visibility is quite good. Come on, focus. You can do it. All right. Now, I guess the elephant in this cabin. This infotainment business should have never been released. Should have never left. Never, ever left. The assembly line, the drawing room floor, I don't know. There are so many things wrong with everything going on here. I mean, if I'm wearing gloves, I took them off. I suppose I could have kept them on. But if I want to change the setting for the heated seats, and my glove happens to brush the temperature controls here, I can't access the heated seat, the temperature will change. Same thing happens if I want to play in this part of the screen, the 10-inch screen. I'm going to access the volume for the audio by accident. And that's just one of the things. See, now, there you go. I want to get classic climate. I am in classic climate. Okay, no, I'm not. There we go, smart climate. Okay. So often, and with the gloves too, if I was to select anything in the menu here in the central upper part of the screen, this is what happens. That happens. It's some kind of shortcut for another menu, which, see, this is what I mean. The intuitiveness is no good. The speed, the processing speed is ridiculously slow. And unless you know that this square is your home button, which you'll figure it out in time. Okay, now it's getting warm in here because I played with that. Okay. This is how you get back to it. Now, I've had issues trying to demonstrate. Am I doing this right? There we go. It's just slow. It's all horrible. The menus don't make any sense. I mean, the radio, you might think, okay, I did select it. If you're in the middle screen, you know what, I quit. Screw it. It's just no good. It should have never, ever left without being fine-tuned a million times over. And then you come down here, which is your main principal access panel to other drive modes and other menus. So you have your climate, shortcut, which right now is working fine. This is for your drive modes. And it's working fine too. All right, fine. With the ID4, it wouldn't work, and now it is working. Well, while we're here, I'll just show you. So you have the race button, which opens up 2 different drive modes. Now, drift is self-explanatory, but yeah, see? Don't be a fool. With the 25 centimeters of snow coming, I won't even need drift mode. I'll just put in sport, whatever, race. And the special is kind of as you can see, the Nürburgring mode, which is essentially the race mode with the dampers set in comfort, and the exhaust just gets stupid loud in the car, which is completely pointless. One thing I really hate about these modern cars. My mode is custom. I'm showing it to you now because it's just simpler. Nice and quiet. Everything is set in sport. You can change the configuration right there. And this is probably the most brilliant part of all the drive modes and the various settings in this car, is that the dynamic chassis control. Look how many different settings you have. And comfort is just the best way to set it up. And you don't need race for most of these things. And the engine sound has to be in comfort. And if I remember, I'll tell you why the engine sound has to be in comfort. Anyhow, the bottom line is this whole infotainment system is absolute garbage. Oh, here, wait. Oh, can I do it fast enough? Okay, vehicle. Is it gonna work? Please wait. Yeah, of course, because it's complicated when I'm asking you. All right, so exterior. Brakes. This is what I wanted. Come on. This is how you deactivate the ESC system. Yeah, there you go. So in the ID4, you only have sport. There's no ESC off, which is maybe not such a bad idea. I'm going to leave it on because I'm a clown behind the wheel. Okay, I've gone on way too long. Now's the time to go for a spin. Okay, so before I do, because I will forget, why you need to turn the stupid engine noise fabricating digital thing off completely is because under load you can actually hear it. You probably didn't hear it. I'm pretty sure you didn't hear it. The windows are down, but you can hear the turbo spooling and whistling. You can hear psst, which in my mind, because it's a real noise, it's so much more interesting to hear. Okay, all right, so Golf R, 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, very familiar mill, if you will. It's been retweaked for the 2022 Mark 8 Golf R. It makes 315 horsepower, up from, I think, the last Mark 7.5 made 288 horsepower, I think. But there's a difference between the DSG equipped models and the manual equipped models. So both have 315 horsepower. With the DSG, the power comes in at 5,600 RPM, and with the manual, 6,000 RPM. Now the torque is a bigger scam, But it's not unusual for Volkswagen because they've done this before. I mean, that's the case with my Mark 7 Sportwagen. So you get 295 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM with the DSG. And with the manual, you get 280 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPM as well, which happens to be 1,200 RPM more than the Mark 7 Golf R. So the power is as much, but it comes in a little bit later. There's more horsepower at higher RPM. But somehow, if memory serves, which is not always the case, the Mark 8 Golf R feels insanely fast. And that probably has to do with the fact that of most of the Golf Rs, I should say, that I've driven have been equipped with manual transmission. Sadly, those days are behind us now, I think, because too many of them have been broken by pretend drivers. Anyway, no, that's a subject for another blog or video. But there are a lot of cool tricks that have been built into this car. And I showed you all the drive modes, and those are all fancy, cool little things. But one of the biggest advancements, if you will, of the Mark 8 over the Mark 7 is the 4Motion all-wheel drive system. Because now, thanks to a trick rear differential, it actually has real wheel torque vectoring. Okay? In other words, the rear diff can split the power left and right and send more power to, say, the outside wheel, so it'll push you through a corner. This is not brake biased torque vectoring. This is actual real torque vectoring. And sadly, because, well, it's the middle of winter and because there's snow coming and I'm I'm rolling on winter tires. I got this. I mean, I couldn't tell you if it's working. I'm sure it is. I'm convinced, because this car feels so sorted in every possible respect. One thing that's come to mind, though, and that's that the Golf R needs all that special all-wheel drive trickery and torque vectoring in order to make it feel as agile or nimble as a front-wheel drive Civic Type R. Just putting it out there. Because on a dry track, an FK8 versus a Mark 7, the Type R just destroyed the Golf R. But as soon as the weather turned into something like this, there was no competition, and that obviously still applies moving into the Mark 8, and I think it's the FL, the next generation Civic Type R. We'll see how that turns out. But obviously, when the weather goes bad, which is it's about to, this is the car to have. Now, the adaptive dampers, I showed you all the multiple settings there. They are magnificent. And say, contrary to the FK8 Civic Type R, which they can't be adjusted individually. I mean, the Type R, you only have 3 drive modes, and no matter which, the dampers are set with the drive mode. There's no individual setting. This, you can. So, I mean, the Nürburgring mode, special mode, gives you soft dampening with maximum race, everything else, which is fantastic. I absolutely love that. And the best part, because this is a Golf, not just because it's a Golf R, the driving experience itself, just the chassis tune, the structure of the car, the way it feels, the oneness of this car, something you'll never get in a Tiguan or a Taos, or even, well, I don't want to say even a Jetta, but maybe that's just my Golf-oriented mind, despite having owned 4 Jettas in the past. But this car feels so civilized, so sorted, so grown up. And I love it for that, because I'm an old man now. But because it's so sophisticated and so grown up, I don't think... I was going to say it's not as much fun, but I take that back. It is definitely as much fun. I'm trying to lower the heated seats. See how distracting that is? Oh my goodness, I can't stand this crap. Anyhow, look. If the windows would... with the DSG, by the way, the Golf R goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.7 seconds, making it essentially the fastest mass production Volkswagen ever. And the DSG itself, I mean, look, yes, I'd love to shift my own gears, but I mean, The 7-speed DSG is so on top of things. It is ridiculous. It is, in effect, smoother than most automatic transmissions when you're driving in the city. And when you're on the highway, well, you just put your foot down, it drops 3 gears, and boom, you're freaking off, possibly off to jail if you're not careful, because the car is surprisingly fast. I guess that's it. I've said way too many things. I absolutely love this car, but I would never ever buy one because of this crap. And I mean crap, junk, garbage. And I'm disappointed in this cheapy looking layout in the center. Maybe I'd consider a manual and maybe like a screen delete, which is why I would love a base Golf R with, no, maybe not crank windows, but just manual transmission, radio delete. Oh, shut up, Matt. I have to tell myself to shut up when it comes to this car. Anyway, that's it.